Good morning. It's Thursday, October 25th, Parshas Lech Lecha, and I was thinking this morning, driving over here, how different our Torah is than anything else. In the fact that every single word is first of all, there's not a single letter, there's not a single drop of ink in the Torah which is superfluous. Every single thing we can learn something, as I said many times, even in the word Bereshis, there's so many things. But every single word we have a question: why does it say this word? Could have said this word. Why did it phrase it this way? And we have tons and tons of answers, and they fit in so beautifully in the text after you know the answers. And I was just thinking, did you ever read a book, any book, and say to yourself, I wonder why the author chose this word. Why didn't he phrase it this way? Why?
Other religions, like I was brought up in the language, and there's nothing like that.
There's nothing like that.
And they don't even teach in the Old Testament. They don't look at it that way.
They don't look at it. They don't dissect it. They don't take out from it the beauty of the written word that God does. You're right. No matter what religion. The other religions have their own Bible, and they study it, and there's Bible classes and
this.
But
it's very topical. It's not like the depth of this at all.
And there are 70 facets to the Torah. We know but one, maybe two, at the most four. We can get into that another time. But it's so complex. The other thing is that the Torah is so, we expect the Torah to be consistent. So if we see one place in the Torah that it says something, and somewhere else it says something else, we're troubled by it. And we try to find answers, and we come up with answers, and it makes it good. It's something we should learn in our own lives, that we should be consistent, and everybody has good days and bad days. We should all strive to be. Consistency is very, very important, and nothing else. And nothing else in life. I was just thinking last night. I don't know if anybody watched the World Series. I conked out a middle, but this pitcher Justin Verlander, who they held out to be a god, and it was amazing. Yesterday screwed up big time. He lost the game for the Tigers, which makes me very happy for embarrassing the Yankees. But anyway, there was no consistency. You would not know that this man was last week hailed as the best pitcher ever, and last night he stunk. And I feel bad for him, but not too bad. Okay, I want to talk about Parshas Lech Lecha, and then I want to, if there is time, which probably there won't be, I want to go back to something that we spoke about in Parshas Noach, which I think is fascinating, and also where we can see a word and how that word changes everything. We all know the famous story, we spoke about it yesterday, that Abraham went into, you cause me tremendous neck pains, because I got to go like this all day. I'm just joking.
I like you sitting there.
Huh?
I like you sitting there.
Yeah, but
and if you notice, I don't interrupt too much because we have such limited time. I want to get every word.
Yes, I know. But I like to look at the people, and people like to see a person's face when they're talking, and you get to see my left ear, which is one of my better qualities.
I like the profile. You
like the profile. Okay, thank you. Anyway, it's in this week's Parsha, famous story that Abraham went into Mitzrayim, and he tells his wife, you better tell them that you're my sister, otherwise, because you're so beautiful, otherwise they're going to desire you, and if they know you're my wife, they're going to kill me. Right? You all know the story. Right. Now, there are a few questions, some of them which are obvious, some of them which are not so obvious. One of them which I thought of myself is what makes him believe that just because he'll say this, they won't kill him? These are terrible people. You walk into town with a beautiful woman, such your sister, they want her, Plus, Abraham was a rich guy to start off with. He became richer when he left. But what makes him think that they're not going to kill him? That's number one. The second of all which is even a more profound question, is if he thinks that they're going to kill him.
Why goes there?
What?
Why
Well, go there because he had to go there. Because,
If it's a danger and
but I wasn't. I don't remember exactly. But wasn't there a hunger and he had to go there to survive or something? I don't remember exactly why he went there.
If he was rich, he had some food.
All right. So that's a good question. Why he went there? But let me just see.
There was a famine.
Yeah, there was a famine. So anyway, so he went there. But if they are the type of people that are ready to kill him, then why would he think that they would kill him because she's a married woman? Well, they wouldn't have any problem sleeping with a married woman. They're murderers.
That's true.
Why would they have to kill him? I mean, he's one person, they're a whole nation, he's the king, Get rid of this guy, I'm going to take his wife. So,
Maybe they wanted a virgin. Maybe they assumed that if she was his sister, that she was a virgin.
yeah.
And not,
Oh,
all
right, that could
sullied
be.
woman.
Wait a second, but he didn't have a child with him at the time?
No.
No, it was no child.
No?
No.
No child. Okay.
Comes
So,
later.
Right.
could
She
be,
was 90,
could be. That's
whatever.
a good answer. Yeah. There is a medrash. There's a medrash that's called medrash Pelia. Pelia means wondrous. Pella. You ever heard that, Benny? Pella, wondrous. So there are all kinds of. There's a medrash. There are different types of medrash. There's medrash on Bereshis. It's called Bereshis Rabbah. There is medrash on each one of the 5 books of Moses. There is medrash Tanchuma. There's a special, not really a book, but there are all kinds of medrashes which are, for the lack of a better word, they're wondrous, and they're sort of like riddles. And they're a lot of fun. For the classic one, the one that most people know about, is there's a medrash that says, Ein manichen tefillin ella b'Shabbos. You don't put on tefillin only ella b'Shabbos. What does b'Shabbos mean?
On Shabbat.
On Shabbos. Benny, can you pass me a napkin, please? One napkin.
You want the
Just one. All right. You gave me the best one, thank you.
middle one?
It says you can't put on tefillin only b'Shabbos. Now, we know that we put on tefillin every single day, except for Shabbos, right? But this measure says, Ein manichen tefillin ella b'Shabbos. So there's a slew of answers that they give on this, and they're all. And I came up with one which is extremely cute. I know certain listeners like when I use the word cute. So the answer is extremely cute. I'm not gonna tell you that answer because it's nothing to do with the parsha or anything like that. But I just want to give you one of the answers. Every single day, what's the last thing we do in davening? What's the last prayer we do in davening?
Halil Shabbat.
No, there's one afterwards.
Sephardim Ashkenazim.
Here in this shul.
What is the last thing we do?
Yeah.
Last prayer?
The last prayer, before you go home, what's the last thing we do in shul? No.
Last prayer.
I mean, you've only been here 1,000 times.
Last prayer?
Yeah.
For us, Halil Shabbat.
Not for us, here in this shul. Yesterday, what was the last thing you did in the shul? The day before, every single day. What's the last prayer we say in shul?
Kaddish?
No, a prayer. Every person sitting in this shul says this prayer right before we go home. You guys are not thinking.
Ani Ma'amin?
No. Benny, that's not a trick question. It's a simple answer. Eleni is the second to last. There is the last one. Good morning. There is hot water, or there is actually already made coffee if you want a cup of coffee. Right there.
I'm not taking it from anybody?
No, it's okay. You can take it. No problem. And then there's sugar and creamer.
No.
Okay? We're in the middle of a class, and this is being recorded, so I don't want to be...
I'm sorry.
That's okay. That's good. So the last thing we do every single day is we say the Yom. Hayom Yom Rishon.
We don't say it.
Yeah.
Benny, that's the third time you told me we. I'm talking about in this shul.
Oh, this shul.
In this shul. You have to listen to me, Benny.
But
In
after
this shul.
every davening you say.
After every morning we
Every
say.
morning, okay.
Yes.
Sorry.
Okay. Benny, Tad, you know what I'm talking about
Yes.
now?
Yeah,
Yes.
but in Chabad it comes earlier.
Okay. Apparently, I'm going to have to switch languages because nobody understands English over here. I think I said 3 times in this shul.
In this shul.
Okay?
But you know what? Nobody knows that because he davens out of Tehillas Hashem. He davens out of his.
No, but he says Kaddish after that also, so he knows that that's the last one. He's a good ping pong player. Anyway, I didn't mean to get upset at either one of you. It's just like
But isn't it true the Kaddish, the last one? If you say...
No, but it's a prayer that every person in
prayer,
this
those
shul.
Kaddish is kind of praying.
Yeah, okay. Okay. The point that I want to make is that every single day we say Hayom Yom Rishon B'Shabbos, Hayom Yom Sheni B'Shabbos, Hayom Yom Shlishi. What do we say on Shabbos?
Hayom Yom Shabbos.
Hayom Yom Shabbos. We leave out the B because it's not the 7th day in Shabbos. It's Shabbos. It's the first day B'Shabbos, in Shabbos. Second day B'Shabbos. But Shabbos we just say Hayom Yom Shabbos. So the Medrash says Ein Manichin Tefillin Ella. We only put on Tefillin Ella B'Shabbos when we say B'Shabbos. Okay, but not on Shabbos.
Gotcha.
Okay?
That makes sense. I like that.
Okay.
Now, what does that have to do with the Parsha?
And it has nothing to do with the Parsha, and certainly has nothing to do with the different ways we daven. But I brought this out as a sample of the Medrash Pliya, how he says something which is sort of wondrous, sort of a riddle, and then we come up with an answer. So now we'll get to, because I know Tad is itching to find out what it has to do with the Parsha. There is a Medrash on this week's Parsha because Avraham Avinu said to his wife, "Tell him you're my sister." We learn out a halacha from it. What halacha do we learn out from it? This is the Medrash says that let's say God forbid somebody is sick, and the doctor says if he doesn't have a piece of meat in the next 15 minutes or the next hour, he's going to die. And it's Shabbos. So, Mr. Mel over here says, is it Mr. Dr. Rabbi, what is it? Mr. So Mr. Mel, a landsman from the 5 towns, says that you're allowed to eat even pork, even dog food, anything, right? So here's the question. Man is sick. Doctor says you got 2 hours to feed him some it's Shabbos, to feed him some food. You walk outside, and there is a guy ready to hand you a hamburger from McDonald's. You allowed to give it to him?
Definitely.
Absolutely, no question. Now, or, let's assume, don't put time into this. In other words, let's say to get to that hamburger sandwich, you would have to walk, it would take 15 minutes to get it. Or there's a kosher cow here right now. You can get a shochet, shecht the animal, and right away barbecue a piece, and you can feed him. What should you rather do?
Whether it's faster.
Assuming there's no, again you didn't listen English. Okay, Bear, I'm going to speak Persian. Assuming there's no time factor, it's both the same in time. Both will take an hour.
Take the cow.
Do you go and violate the Shabbos once more? And you're not allowed to shecht an animal on Shabbos.
Right.
Okay? It's to
So
transgress Shabbos is way more of a transgression than eating a McDonald's hamburger.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Way more.
Okay, from the hamburger.
I mean, come on.
Yeah.
It doesn't say anywhere in the 10 Commandments you can't eat McDonald's. It says, you can't violate the Shabbos. So, which should you rather do? So the Medrash says, from this story that Avram Avinu told his Sarah, tell him you're my sister, from this story we learn out that you're allowed to shecht an animal on Shabbos to give for a sick person.
Huh?
Now, if we all sat here for 1,000,000 years, we could never find out where you learn one thing out from the other. Should I leave it as a cliffhanger?
No. No, we never get to the cliffhanger.
Yeah,
Come on, we got 3 minutes. I've been hanging on
Okay.
the cliff for a month now.
So wait.
When I'll give you the answer, it's so obvious, but only if you know the answer. Otherwise it's not obvious. The answer is like this. If you're faced with a situation that the Medrash is teaching us a very simple, basic, obvious rule, that if you're faced with a situation where you're going to have to do something wrong, but in one instance it's going to be a one-shot deal, and in another instance it's going to be a continuous Aveira, a continuous sin, it's teaching us, do the one-shot deal and don't, for example, let's say, well, I don't have to give an example, we'll talk over here, this particular case.
Right, how is that still? I don't see how it's
If
there.
you shecht the animal on Shabbos, you have transgressed the Shabbos one time. You've killed the animal.
Right.
Afterwards, when you eat from this animal all day, today and tomorrow, and everybody who eats from this animal will eat kosher, and everything will be hunky-dory.
Right.
But you've transgressed one sin.
Right.
If you give the guy a McDonald's sandwich, every bite that he eats, every kazayas, every shear that he eats, every time he swallows, he will transgress of eating treif. So you're faced with a dilemma. Do I make one transgression, or do I do a whole bunch, continuous?
Well, it's actually 2 because you're going to have to cook it. If you kill it on Shabbos, you're going to have to cook it, so then you're cooking on Shabbos.
Okay, so let's say.
And the guy's dying.
Okay, putting
so
that aside, I can come up with
the
answers
guy's
to that, but I
dying,
don't
he's
want.
allowed to eat it. He needs it. He's allowed
But he's allowed to. But should you have him do 25 things wrong? He's going to be eating all day, and every time he takes a bite
Less
from it,
is
he will.
better.
In other words, do the one. This is the Medrash teaching, a very simple
And
rule.
how does that relate to
And
this?
how does that relate to this? I can spend a minute and feed it to you slowly, and you'll get it. But the answer is that this is the question that was posed before the rest of the people walked in was, why would they kill him? Because if they thought she was a married woman, Abraham said, just step aside a second, Dr. Berman, so Elliot can see me. Okay? Why? The question I posed was that Abraham said that tell them that you're my sister. Otherwise, if they know you're my wife, they're going to kill me because you're a married woman. Like, why would they care? If they're ready to kill him, I mean, what are these people? They pick and choose. There are 7 mitzvahs of the Noahide laws. One of them is killing, but one of them is also to cohabitate with a married woman. So these people obviously are not any righteous people. They're not observing their own 7 laws. So why would they do that? The answer is that if they would kill him, they would violate one law, killing. And then forevermore, when they would sleep with Sarah, it would be allowed because she's not married anymore. If they didn't kill him and they would sleep with her every single time they would sleep with her, they would violate a law because she's a married woman. So they would rather transgress only one law than transgress continuously. So that's where the Medrash, Liz, you're puzzled? You get it?
I sort of get it, but you said these are lawless people. Do they care about how
Yes,
many times
that's the
they're
point. That's the point. The point is that even lawless people, even people who they're lawless, but they have 7 laws, just like we have.
So they were abiding at least by those?
Sometimes us Jews, we violate laws also, okay? But if you're faced with violating a law, we ourselves know we always want to do the lesser of the evils. So they, even though they're lawless, and they're now going to violate a law, but they're going to pick the one which is less evil. So they'd rather commit the one act of killing, as opposed to continuously sleeping with a married woman, which they would violate their laws. So this is what the Medrash learns. Okay.
One interesting topic about this Medrash is that there is one sickness, but you said you could do anything to cure a sickness.
Right.
So one sickness you cannot do certain aveir.
Three.
No. One. It's a bulmus arayus. If somebody is sick, he
Yeah.
says, I need to do an araya.
Right.
You're not allowed to.
No, but there are 3. There are 3.
there's Yarok Val Yavor.
Yeah, so those are the 3.
Right, no, but okay, all right. So maybe because of that, the Gemara there, I think it discusses the bulmus arayus. If somebody's like
Right. If somebody's very sick, says, unless I have what Mr. Mel is saying, if somebody's very sick, says, unless I sleep with this woman, a married woman, they're gonna die, you let them die.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
That, yeah, I mean,
So-
what instance would there be where someone would have to sleep with her or die?
Well, suppose he says, I want a pork sandwich or I'm gonna die.
I want a what?
Pork sandwich.
Yeah, you give them the pork sandwich.
Oh.
Absolutely.
See, that's
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting.
So pork you can have, married woman no.
Pork, yes, married woman, no. Now, if you want to pork a married woman, that's something else.
Yeah, that was kind of-
the Gemara discusses that disease as bulimi, bulmus arise. I don't know.
But yeah, you're right.
They used to have
Should I continue? We don't have many?
I want to know, is there going to be a class trip?
There's going to be a class trip
One class trip.
to Prospect Park.
Okay.
funny guys here.
Because
Is your brother Schwartz
on Coney
Yes.
Island,
from Lawrence?
Yes.
What's the
I
name?
know, yeah, I know.
He has a shul, or my other, I have two brothers. Isaac Schwartz and Shiur Schwartz.
Shai Hirsch.
Yes, Shiur Schwartz has a shul in his basement.
Oh, he has a shul in the basement?
Yes.
I know.
Yes,
we
I
learned
know. There
this, but it's been around about 50
He
years.
lives a block away from my brother-in-law.
And you know,
Penny,
you know
sure,
what
I know
they
Penny.
make?
My brother-in-law.
They make-
Oh, yeah?
They make like,
Penny's
it's
your
all rolled up, it's all deli meat, and it's rolled up, and it's great. And they
Okay,
put-
so I think we'll stop. I wanted to tie this in. I wanted to tie this all in to Noach, the connection between the two.
Well, give it for Monday.
But I guess
Yeah,
we'll do it
tomorrow.
for Monday. But Monday will be already, I'll be two parshas off.
What about tomorrow?
Okay. Have a good Shabbos, everybody.
Binyamin won't be